Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the FPL Watchlist. It is blank game week 31, our first blank game week of the season, but more importantly, green arrow, green arrow, green arrow. What a week. I mean, where do we even start? We're going to go straight into it. The man of the week. It is 79 points for you, Stephen. Bench boost, maybe you could have wished for a little bit more, but a big green arrow, top 300k. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, we'll take that all day. I know top 300k doesn't sound amazing, but considering I was in 700k 3 weeks ago, I will take that for sure. Game week rank of 19k. So yeah, huge game week for me. I mean, like you said, could have gone a bit better with the bench boost. I think it was definitely a controversial pick going for the bench boost here. But I had three defenders playing at home, and Harry Wilson was, you know, it was a bit iffy whether he would start, but I had a gut feeling. I know Harry Wilson better than most people do, considering he's my doppelganger. So I just had a great feeling, and it didn't work out well. But thankfully, a lot of players in the starting 11 made this bench boost look slightly worthwhile.
Yeah, still pretty. I mean, you take anything over 10, like, yeah, you could have got slightly better, but a single game week. And as we're going to talk about with doubles and blanks, the double for the bench boost looks absolutely tragic anyway. So most of us are going to be bench boosting with either single game week players or like triple Brighton away at Spurs at home to Chelsea, which doesn't feel particularly great anyway.
Doesn't sound that bad, to be fair.
Yeah, true. After recent performances, as someone in the chat said, you absolutely ate to see it. Chelsea result last night. But we're going to move swiftly past that. We don't need to talk about Chelsea very much today. But yeah, 79 big for you. We'll talk about the Liverpool rotation a little bit. As things go, we didn't get too burnt by it compared to what some other people did. But Tom, do you want to move on to your score?
Yep, no problem. Yeah, so I got 64, which was enough to go from 150 to 116k. After Saturday, I was about 220k though, so we had a good Sunday and a great Monday with Dango. So I had Sanchez in goal, who did turn up, although it would have been better if he didn't, with Dubravka keeping a clean sheet. And then Chelsea, that goal, yeah, Gordon scored, wasn't great. Gabriel did well, and then Timber went off, so that was disappointing. Chris Richards, the hero, clean sheet DEFCON 2 bonus, thanks to Mr. Calvert-Lewin as well. Bruno Fernandes, captain. I thought it might have been a bit more split, to be fair, but it seemed like Bruno was, I think most people, well, maybe he was only 100% EO, so maybe not everyone, but it seemed to be the obvious pick by deadline, and he got another home double-digit haul. Rodgers and Enzo did what they do, which is nothing, and Ekatike, inconsistent Ekatike, didn't even turn up. So yeah, on the bench, Dubravka, Anderson, flirted with a bench boost at one stage because I know I was big on Steven doing it as well, which if I could have been sure on Sanchez, Dorgu to Hill would have made it 24 points, which is a bit annoying, especially now considering how much of a headache the bench boost actually is. But yeah, I got away with playing Wilson over Rodgers, playing Rodgers over Wilson, which I actually meant to change, but I got stuck driving and I couldn't pull over, so thankfully it didn't cost me. But yeah, green arrow.
Nice. And actually, yeah, so as I was saying, none of us sold Haaland, did we?
I didn't have the transfers to do anything.
No, and we only had 3 Ekatikes between us for Liverpool. Like, there was no Salah, there was no captaincy armband. So actually, as things went for that Liverpool game, the result was probably quite good for us from a FPL point of view. Like, none of us really went on. I don't know how much you guys discussed it last week, but it was definitely something I was considering, trying to find a way to buy Salah and selling Haaland. But all of us, yeah, decided to hold off. So that's really what resulted in, I mean, part of the reason in green arrows all round, because the more Liverpool players you had, the more you considered moving the armband off Bruno. But I mean, his home form is just unbelievable.
It's just I think we'll talk about his inconsistency as well. Like,
yeah,
he's blanked like I think 8 of his last 10 matches.
I think the longer you've owned Ekatike, the less likely you are to captain him. because we've been there for like a month and a half with him, getting 2 points every week.
Through the trenches.
Yeah, literally. And now everyone's just seen him score like a 13 or a 15 pointer a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, oh, like it's Spurs at home, like we'll captain Ekitike. And all of us who have had him for like 2 months, we're like, I'm not sure about that.
Don't be fooled.
Yeah, don't be fooled by one return. Like that's his return of the month. Like that'll be it. That'll be blanks for the rest of March now.
I must say, he had the amount of 3-on-4s that Liverpool had at one stage. It seems like Salah has forgot how to pass a ball because
he's forgotten how to pass. He's forgotten how to shoot.
Yeah, I get on paper why it looked appealing, but it's like Saka. I just don't. It's not playing very well, are they? Like,
I mean, yeah, watching that last 20 minutes of that game when he came on, I was equally terrified, but also very happy that I didn't buy him because he was getting in really good positions and he was very involved, but his end product was just awful.
Yeah.
Move on
So yeah, I got 64 as well, pretty similar to what you had. I had double Arsenal defence though, and I had no Dango, which is basically the only difference. And I had blanks across my midfield. Brian and Burmo starting to be a bigger and bigger frustration for me, but we'll keep him this week. Wilson, Anderson didn't even get DEFCON, but he's shooting on sight at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anderson on my bench along with Dubravka. So that would have been a 15-point bench boost with even a Tarkowski no-show, but I was never really considering it. So yeah, 64, Green Arrow into the top 50k for the first time. And actually, I was watching the Scoutcast last night, and this is the watch list calling out the Scoutcast. I think that our 3 ranks add up to almost exactly the same to their 3 ranks with 8 weeks to go in the season. And I am backing us to have a lower combined total of ranks compared to what they do. So Andy is 230k, Nacho is 60k, and Hibbo is 143k, which I think is almost identical if you add them up to where we are. So that's like 60, but then slightly higher, 20 and slightly higher there. So
Come on,
we will
Stephen.
have
I've got to start pulling my weight.
Yeah,
I've got to start
Stephen.
pulling my weight here, boys.
Yeah, we'll be there. Gameweek 38.
Let's do combined points, not rank. Combined points makes more sense. How about that?
Yeah, fine. This is the Scout stream that you need to be watching. None of that Scoutcast, none of that Az and Sam Q&A. This Wednesday stream is the one we're gonna have the
Do you want
highest.
to plus their ranks together?
Yeah, exactly. They've only got 2 of them, but yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the key players to buy this week. We're gonna start at Newcastle. It feels like quite a big team to talk about.
Just before that, we've got the European.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do Europeans first.
Just yesterday, obviously Chelsea and Man City are out, shockingly, losing to PSG and Real Madrid.
I know. Not even getting back into the tie, like it getting worse.
Yeah, 6 minutes. I sent a message in the work chat. I said 5th minute Dembele goal, and it was 6th minute Kvaratskhelia goal, so it wasn't far off.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is a lot. So this is a screenshot from a video I did this week, and it's basically highlighting why teams coming out of Europe is so big for the rest of the season. Because what we see is Game Week 33 and Game Week 36 are the normal predicted doubles because those are the weeks with no midweek football, right? There's no European fixtures. And normally the teams that we expect to double, the ones who go far in the FA Cup, are also ones that are in Europe. That's just statistically the most likely thing, that the best teams in the league are also the ones who do well in Europe, etc., etc. But what we do see is once we come out of Europe, the 3 midweeks are endless, basically. So basically no team plays midweek between now and the end of the season if you're out of Europe. So suddenly all of those potential rearrangements could go into 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37 technically. So it's much harder to predict where those doubles are going to go as a result. So that's why, particularly Palace this week, the City Palace game potentially going into 31 or 32, but also just generally City and Chelsea going out, and whether, Liverpool, Newcastle go out, it will impact things further down the line. And it might mean that the 33 double looks a lot worse when we get to it than it does now, because if 34 is a free midweek, which it is now for Chelsea and it is now for City, instead of needing a double in 33 and a blank in 34, teams could just have single game weeks, which would be an absolute nightmare. And part of the reason I said, Stephen, that a single game week bench boost is not the end of the world now is that Chelsea could have no double now that we're out of Europe. That 33 fixture could just stay in 30. That 34 fixture could stay in 34. The same for City. Like City Burnley could come out of 34 and just go into the midweek of 34, and they don't need to double apart from the Palace fixture. So that's also just something to consider when you're making transfers this week, that there is so much information to be gained in 32, because predicting doubles is almost impossible.
That's a bit of a shame.
Anything, yeah, I mean, apart from the fact that
Arsenal and Newcastle now are...
Yeah, Arsenal and Newcastle
locked.
basically have to double 33 and blank 34 because Arsenal are through. But, I mean, just general thoughts on what it means on your guys' team, and how does it mean you're less likely to go piling into players this week?
I think the first thing to say is don't wildcard on Friday night.
Yes.
To anyone watching, it's definitely not one of those. Obviously, usually it's catch the price rises, etc. But there's no point. Just hang on. I guess you wait until after the week. You're waiting for like over a week, right? Oh, is it internationals first and then FA Cup?
And then FA Cup.
So it's, so you're waiting for ages. But yeah.
Yeah.
Once the game week, yeah.
Because even with the price changes, I know everyone like it's the game within the game with the price changes, but there's only 8 odd games left, so I feel like, you know, it's not. Don't look at the price changes. Just try to get as much information as possible, which is what all of us will be doing. Wait until after the FA Cup games, a bit more clarity on how to approach this situation, because I feel like, yeah, there's no like optimal strategy this year because of how everything's fall and how some of the fixtures look in that double. It doesn't even look that appealing, you know, the types of chips you can use in and around that space. So I think people will be wildcarding at slightly different times based off what their teams look like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people who want to wildcard 32 need to be open to the possibility that it might not be the week to wildcard, depending on how the cup results go. So as much as you might want to gain 0.05 in value or 0.5 in value over the first 2 weeks of the international break, I am almost certain that it is not worth it. There'll be very little content. There'll be very little to do as it was last year, because those FA Cup results, as much as you think Chelsea will win, Arsenal will win, and then the others, yeah, it's and the West Ham Leeds one is also a big impactor, because West Ham play Monday night in game week 33, so it's quite difficult for them to double unless they also move that fixture. So, yeah, I mean, people in the chat saying, is there a chance City Palace stays in 31, but we don't know it before the deadline? I'd be shocked. I'd be so surprised if that happens. I think if that Palace City game is going to go into 31, they'll know it already in their minds, and they'll announce it on Friday. I don't see any reason why it would go into 31 over 32, because 32 would then also be free midweek, because that's also European games. And it's just an extra week of time to plan and prep. So I think 32 is much more likely than 31 anyway. But I think we can presume, if we get to the 31 deadline and there's no announcement, that it's not going in 31. I still be starting Haaland in my team, just in the 0.1% chance that it was to happen. But I just don't think it will go into 31, is my general thought. Like, I have no reason to think 31 is more likely than 32. Which would be interesting in itself, because it would give City and Palace a double in 32.
Yeah, I think you have to appreciate from the game's point of view, they are not going to add a match in the game week after producing content and telling people that Man City do not have a game like that.
Yeah,
is not going to happen. I think it's more likely that the 32 deadline would move backwards if required, if the Premier League put it where Harry said. But no, I would just be very shocked.
Yeah. I more mean it can go in the midweek after game week 32. Like, that just seems so much more logical. It just gives everyone an extra week more to do what they want.
Personally,
But
I would love the chaos. I would absolutely love the chaos if
Imagine if
if we get
Haaland
the
gets
double.
a hat trick after being like the most sold player.
I need some.
I'm
We
gonna
need some chaos.
start him and captain him with Bruno Weiss. That's the plan.
Not a bad shout.
But yeah, I do think it's possible that City double 32. It would need Palace to lose on Thursday night, right? Of course, because it couldn't happen if Palace don't. But it is just something to pay attention to. If Palace do get knocked out on Thursday, it's just worth being a little bit flexible and at least waiting till Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's Europe.
But one of those teams likely to double in 33 is Newcastle. Against Arsenal, which isn't great, but Bournemouth at home is their other fixture in the double, potentially, if they get it. And they start a pretty good fixture run between now and the end of the season. Basically, every single game, apart from the Arsenal away one, which might be part of a double anyway, is pretty good. And you could just mainstay a lot of their players in your team. I think both in defence and in midfield, and actually in goal, there are options all over the pitch for them, apart from up front, basically. I prefer Malik Chow over Lewis Hall. I think if they get knocked out, I think Lewis Hall and Livramento are worth considering. But Malik Chow's DEFCON per 90 is better. His XGI per 90 is better. His actual goal output per 90 is better this season. I don't really see a world that you buy an injury-prone Lewis Hall or Livramento over Malik Chow, unless you want to be different. But I think defensively, they look like a team to invest in. They've been pretty mixed, but if they go out of Europe tonight and they've got one fixture a week, they've got to be right on radar, both as short term if you need them for 1 week or long term, right?
Definitely, I'm gonna buy Malik Chow. I think it's pretty clear cut. He's cheaper than Lewis Hall. He's had the third most XG of any defender this year, more than Gabriel, for example. His DEFCON's great. I think this week, I don't want to sound too confident, but I think you can lock them in for 3 points. I think they'll be so up to reverse. Obviously, they lost the previous derby. Sunderland have got some injury problems as well. Sunderland don't score any goals. They've scored one open play goal in 8 matches. So at risk of putting the mockers on it, that Granit Xhaka long shot that happens on the weekend. But I think it's... I mean, if you're free hitting, I think he's probably the first defensive name on the team sheet. You could say Joachim Andersen, but I think Fulham are a bit more suspect than Newcastle. So,
I think if you're on free hit, they both are just locks, right?
Yeah. But I think Newcastle is the... Like, I'm looking for a defender, and there's no other team I've considered. Ahead of Van Dijk as well, I think he just looks like the perfect pick this week.
Yeah, and also for the rest of the season as well. Like, the fixtures are really there for Newcastle, arguably the best of any team for the rest of the season. So you'd hope with them, potentially crashing out of Europe, we'll see how that goes. But they'll just focus everything on the Premier League.
Yeah, it gives you a leg up for 34 as well, which is useful.
Yeah, in the eventuality that you might not wildcard 32, I think I'd buy Chow over Anderson this week.
Yeah, Fulham are pretty useless after this week, I think. They've got really tough fixtures. And as
if
we
you're
always say with
someone
Fulham, they're always suspect.
Yeah, great defensive data, but they just love to concede goals. If you're someone who captains defenders, someone crazy like that, you'd argue that Chow is probably the one to go for this. I think he's the best defensive pick just for points this game week.
And updates on players like Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes might be useful. I don't think Bruno Guimaraes is going to be back this week, but he'll almost certainly be back after the long break. Tonali, I don't think's travelled.
He was ill, right? Was he? For Chelsea?
Or maybe he didn't play that and he has travelled. But yeah,
I think
like an
Miley
update on these players.
And Ramsey haven't travelled.
Yeah. But I mean, they are second for projected clean sheets this week, only behind that of Fulham. And if you were to look long term, they're definitely above Fulham. So unless you're definitely wildcard 32, in which case maybe you look at Anderson. But I still think I'd buy Malik Chow because he's more likely to hit a 15-pointer than Anderson, I think.
Definitely. I mean, he's got 3 double digits this year.
Yeah.
4 goals from an XG of about 4. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. Also at Newcastle, probably the attacker that is being most spoken about this week Didn't help that Chelsea gifted him and Newcastle a goal at the weekend. Is Anthony Gordon, midfielder, playing up front, looks set to keep that role based off what Eddie Howe has said, and is on pens. There is, of course, a slight chance that when Bruno Guimaraes comes back that he would take pens off him, but I don't think he will. I think Gordon is first with Bruno Guimaraes second.
Yeah, Gordon's been on pens long before.
Yeah, Bruno G took one, but I think Gordon was off the pitch, right?
Yeah, because I remember I didn't have him and he hauled as the third choice penalty taker when the other two were off the pitch.
Because was also not on the pitch. But XG per 90 is good, 0.46. XA, good. Big chances per 90 is great. Yeah, it looks like a really nice punt. I think the only thing to put us off is his Premier League goal-scoring form.
Yeah, he scored in back-to-back weeks. That's the first time he's done that this year. But I think... So he's got 9 attacking returns in 22 games, but the first attacking return came in his 14th game. So you can actually say he's got 9 in 16. So
yeah,
he's...
I mean, 5.4% owned.
He's a great captaincy shout this week, by the way. I think.
Yeah.
I just don't know how open that game's going to be.
Yeah, it's tough to say because, I mean, if Ballard's injured, Mukiele's injured, if Rose is injured, Lefay is a doubt, and Reinildo's a doubt. So, I mean, that's 3 of their back 4.
Yeah, I mean, I really like him as a pick. If I needed to make a midfield transfer this week, I think he's probably who I'd buy.
I think I think it's interesting because because the captaincy picks, there's no standout option, and of the few that we're looking at, it's like who has the least cons. It's not like who has the most pros. It's really I feel like the ceilings for captaincy are quite low this week in terms of the fixtures. Going for someone like Gordon feels like a nice play if you're going to captain him as well.
Yeah, I agree. He's most transferred in midfielder this week. 150k transfers in already, followed by Bruno and then Szoboszlai.
Rice and Semenyo owners is... I know obviously there's the City slight potential, but Semenyo and Rice owners, it's the easiest move, isn't it?
Would you buy him over Wilson?
I think with a double... I think you probably have to look longer term.
Yeah, I think unless you're definitely wildcard 32 again, just like the defender, in which case I might go Wilson. But if you're not 100% locked on that strategy, which I don't think anyone should be, and I think I'd go Gordon.
I mean, I own Morgan Rogers, and I am looking very enviously at Anthony Gordon.
I mean, he's a huge differential, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Gordon does... Rodgers does play West Ham at home this game week, though.
West Ham are on fire. I'm not going to sell Rodgers. I won't do it, but 9 points in 5 weeks. It's terrible.
That's bad.
Very jealous if you get to Gordon this week. Very jealous.
Yeah. Someone asking in the chat about Palmer. I just haven't seen anything from him for many months to really make it worthwhile, apart from the fact that he takes pens. You're not going to get a positive output from Chelsea from any of us today if you're looking to ask us about Chelsea players.
It's a bit like Salah and Saka, isn't it? It's the name, but you got to look at the last time they actually... I guess Palmer's a bit different because he did actually do some good stuff a few weeks ago, but...
I mean, he scored pens.
Against Villa he did all right, but...
He scored 1, yeah.
Yeah, he does have a great record against Everton, but I wouldn't recommend buying Palmer.
No. I'd buy Gordon over Palmer.
Yeah, I think so.
Fair, yeah.
I mean, I've got Enzo Fernandes, so I'm not sure how he's still on my team, but... What other midfielders being bought this week?
Gordon, Bruno, Szoboszlai. I can't with Szoboszlai.
You just need a keeper that palms the ball into the net.
Yeah, I mean... I can't. I think he's a good pick because he plays the minutes and he takes set pieces and he does all of this and that. But I can't help but think when he's just got 11 points because he scored another free kick that it's not going to happen every week. How many open play goals has this guy scored this season?
think it's 1 because I think he scored 4 free kicks.
Just one.
Like, I'm not buying someone who's got one open play goal. And if he scores a free kick every game between now and the end of the season, I'll be proven wrong. But I'm not buying a player in game week 31 that scored 1 open play goal and isn't on pens.
You can frame it in different ways because he's returned at least 4 points in 6 of his last 7, and he's got DEFCONs in 4 of his last 6 with a bit of attacking threat. So you can kind of build a narrative.
Yeah, I think like the DEFCON appeal is something, but I just
for DEFCON players though, I'm not spending that much money.
I'll just buy Elliot Anderson. Didn't even get it this week.
Yeah, he
hasn't got
points,
it 2
Harry.
and 3, has he?
Explain yourself.
I feel
He got
so
subbed off
sad.
as well
Honestly,
for
I've had
James
green
McAtee.
arrows, and it's because because he's so attacking, they sub him off when they need a goal because they bring on other attackers. But he's now scoring goals, so I mean, is there anything he can't do? But yeah, I can't bring myself to buy Szoboszlai. Really.
Yeah. Are there any midfielders you would sell this week that have a fixture? Like you're sitting there with Mbermo, for example.
Yeah, definitely not selling that. Although he has been dreadful.
Must be half tempted to look at Gordon with 5 free transfers. Oh, you got 4.
Only
sorry.
4.
Yeah. Oh, you
So
will have 5.
I
Sorry, I just
I can
spoiled your
roll.
transfer plans there.
Although, yeah, I have Tarkowski, so it might not be that simple.
People, like Everton players like Dewsbury Hall or Ndiaye.
I mean,
You must be tempted to sell and die to. Actually, no. Sorry, they're playing Chelsea, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't say it.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I know.
Like not really. I just from the bit we did at the beginning, I just think the transfer is so much more important. Unless you were buying Bruno, that's probably it.
Yeah, I guess if you were somehow sitting there with Saka or something, I think Bruno is.
Yeah.
It's going to be the one player above 100%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be quite high as well. It's about 70%, 75% captaincy as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be high. So yeah, other midfielders, there aren't loads. Like if you need
Casemiro.
punts this...
That guy is flying. I'm not saying you
Casemiro.
should buy him. I'm saying he's on the transfers in list, but he is having the season of his life. 133 points.
7 goals, 4 assists.
Yeah, that's mad.
When I saw that he'd scored on Sunday, I knew it was a Bruno assist because he's a set piece monster,
always.
isn't he?
Yeah. That flick
I
on
saw
header
Casemiro goal and I was like, that's going to be a Bruno assist. That.
every time.
He's smashing
time.
it. It's crazy.
I mean, we could spend a long time talking about how good Bruno's been recently, but I'm sure it's all over the media anyway, and I'm sure you've all seen it. But he is that graph.
Remember
that,
when in FPL he was a culture war? Like,
yeah, I know. Do you remember what I got shouted at? We all got shouted at for picking him game week 1. Now look at him.
Yeah, there you go.
To
if
be
he
fair,
hadn't have
game
missed
week
those
1,
pens, he would be absolutely flying.
if he hadn't have missed the pens, he'd be on 200 points already.
But then everyone would own him as well. I guess everyone owns him anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, that graph, did you see the one they put on Monday Night Football? Of like chances created, and like all the league is taken up like half the graph, and then it's just like Bruno in the top corner.
He's missed 3 games as well. He's missed games against Wolves and Leeds, and he's still got this many points.
I mean, absolute hero.
He might break
do
the
think
assist record as well.
I don't think he wants to score. I think he wants assists.
He should have had another one as well at the end for was it Sesko?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, good player.
Anyway, so that's midfielders really, and then forwards. The obvious 3, right, are Ekitike, João Pedro, Thiago. I still think they remain the obvious 3, but I do think there is a player knocking on the door with the way that he's playing, the way that his team's playing. 1 game a week, good motivation in the league, and good fixtures. In Jarrod Bowen. DEFCON numbers have been great recently, which I know people are like DEFCON for a forward, like you want them to score goals. But if he picks up DEFCON every 4 games, or 1 in every 3, that adds up when the others are not scoring consistently enough. And he's on pens. again, we're at the point now where people are needing differentials. Gordon is a great one. And I think Jared Bowen at 8% owned is another great one. You owned him earlier on.
I was
in the
about to say,
season,
do you remember when I
Tom?
bought Bowen and Thiago scored 5 times?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been in great form. And I hear what you said about the forward line. If I was free hitting, I would give massive consideration for Bowen over Ekatike, with Aston Villa looking so poor at the minute. And he's doing what he does. When West Ham need him, he steps up big time. He never posts the best data. You know, he's got...
Yeah, his data is worse than everyone else.
6 games, he's got 0.6 XG. But you don't really care with him because you just know that he's going to pull something up at some stage.
If West Ham are doing well, then Bowen is at the helm of that basically every time. You would think, like, every time. It's one of those ones. You think about those players that, like, you get a notification on your phone that such and such team scored. Oh, you know it's that player. Like, Bowen is that guy for West Ham.
Yeah. Yeah. He, it's so annoying with their double that it might not go into 33 or probably won't, because that West Ham double would actually be the best on paper. It would make the bench boost so much better.
This time last year, Jared Bowen started to absolutely tear it up. He scored like every week. And if you didn't own him, it just got worse and worse. Somerville being out does impact them a little bit, but I think he's expected back after the break anyway. So it's just one game. Villa are all over the place. Villa play on Thursday. He was so good at the end of last year, and I can't get that out of my mind. That is he going to do it again?
Yeah, the fixtures are mixed. Maybe they're not mixed. Maybe the FDR's a bit... I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I think they're games that I don't necessarily expect them to win, but I expect them to score in. And he ticks along nicely. Like, he can just... One goal, bit of DEFCON, bit of bonus. He's taking... Oh, dear. I've gone again. This happened a while ago, didn't it?
Yeah. We can still hear you.
All right.
For the podcast viewers, Harry has just...
it's because it's not charging properly, that's why. All right, well, I'll try and fiddle around with this and I'll let you talk about how good Bowen is.
That's all right.
Yeah, Tom, surely you're his biggest advocate if you're the only one who's owned him this season, I feel.
I always like to own him. I owned him when he scored against Chelsea and hauled against Sunderland. But he's consistent, but he's not necessarily massively explosive. And I guess it's tricky. Like, would you pick him if you need a forward this week? If you're always planning to sell Haaland, well, how does he rank? How are you ranking João Pedro, Thiago, Ekatike, Bowen?
Oh, that's tough. I feel like Thiago is still up there for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I obviously the fixture's there for Thiago and just the historical data this season. Like, he only needs one more goal to hit 20 goals, doesn't he? He's on 19 now.
Yeah, if he'd taken the big chances, he'd be in the Golden Boot race.
There you go. So maybe it's just a bit of recency bias with Thiago grabbing the goal there this week. But yeah, I'd still say Thiago is the one I would go for if you don't already own him. Obviously, a lot of people do.
What about João Pedro, Harry, if you're able to chat?
I still think...
his data's...
I still like João Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah?
If there's any Chelsea player I'd want, it's him.
I think Ekatike is the one you would drop. I do.
Yeah, he's the most expensive as well, right?
But if you had Haaland and you need a forward, like, I think Bowen over Ekatike is a play.
Yeah, I do think there's such an impacting factor on what your chip strategy is, and I know it's a really boring answer, but if you're getting to the point where you might free hit 33, then you're buying Bowen for Villa, Wolves, and Everton. Like, Villa away, Wolves at home, Everton away. But if you need him for the double, then I think it's João Pedro. Or if you're definitely wildcard 32, then again, like this week, I probably would take Ekatike. So I do think that is an impacting factor a little bit on these, that they all fit something slightly different. If it's purely for this week, I think I would take Ekatike top still. Because I think he's still the most likely to get 15 points out of all of them. then João Pedro probably, and then I'd buy Bowen over Thiago now though.
Fair enough. Completely different, Stephen.
Yeah.
It's pretty close between the four, to be fair, I think.
Yeah, it is. And if you're chasing, I think Bowen's top.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw another name into the mix. I think you can guess who I'm going to say, Harry, if you've listened
Richarlison.
To our favourite FPL podcast, Planet FPL.
He was 9th in my forwards to buy this week.
Wow, that's an endorsement. 9th.
It was below Evan Nielsen. It was just above Danny Welbeck.
That's harsh.
But yes.
That's harsh.
Yeah, maybe
because
he's suspended.
He's suspended tonight, so
yes,
he's locked in for the weekend.
Yeah,
and
they've got some good fixtures.
Spurs have maybe the best fixtures after Newcastle.
Yeah, I guess if it was purely this week, if you were free hitting, I'd be very tempted to pop him in, to be fair.
Yeah, I've no issue with it. Just in 32, like if you're not wildcard, then you might not want to be stuck with Richarlison.
Someone said Beto against Chelsea. Not the worst shout. Not the worst shout.
Yeah, so I have no issue with Richarlison. He's probably the only Spurs player that I'd consider, but his minutes will be good because he can't play in Europe. They've got a lot of motivation. He feels like the only one who seems to really want to care at that Spurs team at the moment. Again, huge differential, even lower owned than Bowen, but he's probably one I'd less like to be stuck with long term.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. And then, obviously, people are going to shout about Jimenez, but with Burnley at home. But it's minutes with him.
Yeah.
61 and 59 in the last 2 weeks.
And, of course, very sad and unfortunate news for him in the past week with his father passing away. You just don't know the impact that has on someone and whether, with his reduced minutes, whether they give like Muniz a start. I don't think I'd take the chance on it.
No, it's not the biggest drop in quality if Jimenez needs a week off or something.
So you want to have a look at our teams? Tom, do you want to do the sponsor before we do?
Yeah, just a quick message from the video sponsors, and then we'll be back with our teams. This episode of the FPL Watchlist is brought to you by British Army Recruitment. You may already know how exciting and challenging an army career could be, but you may also be wondering what's in it for you. On this podcast, we love sport and we love football. I'm sure that if you're listening to this, you do as well. You may not know this, but sport is built into your day-to-day army life. You don't have to squeeze football into your evenings because most bases reserve Wednesday afternoons just for sport. You can play rugby, football, cricket, or practically any other sport you can think of. The Army is also part FA affiliated with its own teams competing across the country, and can even fund your qualifications if you wish to become a professional coach or referee. Some soldiers even go on to compete at semi-professional level, playing at the biggest venues like Wimbledon and Twickenham. So whether you're in it for the camaraderie or aiming for the elite, the pathway is there with an army career. Plus, while you're doing all that, you're being paid to train in new skills, gaining civilian qualifications up to degree level. Away from the sports pitch, the Army is the UK's biggest apprenticeship provider and the #1 apprenticeship employer, as listed by the Sunday Times. So if that sounds like your kind of team, search Army Jobs to find out more. That's Army Jobs. Right, thank you for the sponsor, and I hope we're not muted after that. No, we're good. Harry, you are up first, but that is your results. So, team selection,
Yeah, so I've got 11 out this week, currently, TBC, with a yellow flag, and 4 free transfers. So, what is not a nicer feeling than to roll in a blank to get to 5 free transfers? I mean, yeah, that's the plan, unless Tarkowski is out. I really, really, really hope Tarkowski's not out, because I just don't know who I'm going to buy. I probably will end up buying Malik Chow, but I think there's quite a good chance that I free hit 33, wildcard 35, if City win in the Cup. And if I end up doing that, then I don't want to have bought Malik Chow, because he would double in 33 where I'd free hit and blank in 34 where I would need him for, which is, I find it really difficult to know who to buy, because the two chip strategies that I might end on, which feel pretty 50-50 at the moment, mean I need to buy completely opposite players.
Can you expand on the second strategy, please? Just like in terms of how your team looks right now.
So if we get to a position where my team in Game Week 32 looks quite good, and I've currently got, I think, a full 11 of players who are predicted to play in Game Week 34. So 32 and actually 34 go quite well together, but I don't have loads of doublers. So I could play my free hit in 33 instead of bench boosting to buy a full 11 of doublers, because actually the bench boost doesn't look that great. Like if the bench boost doesn't fall well, like that West Ham fixture doesn't go into 33, like my bench boost is got maybe a single game week player, because there's not actually 3 forwards predicted to double at the moment. Like I don't know who my third forward would be. Like I'm going to buy Danny Welbeck for his double. I just think it sets my team up better for the rest of the season, rather than buying loads of Brighton players in particular who double in 33 that I don't want for the end of the season. So it might load in that actually my team looks better to just play Game Week 32, where my team looks quite good, but I'd also have 5 free transfers to make some changes. Free hit 33, play 34 with some more transfers, and then wildcard 35 for the final few weeks, and also have the information if we get a double for in the last few weeks. Now, I understand people's reasoning that you don't want to double that late on in the season, but if you're wildcard 32 and you're going to free hit 34 anyway, it's only 2 weeks later. Like it's only 2 weeks different, and I'd have extra information, and my team in 32 does not need a wildcard. I've got double United at home to Leeds. I've got like Dewsbury Hall away at Brentford. I've got Van Dijk at home to Fulham. I've got Gabriel Raya coming back in. I've got Richards at home to Newcastle. I've got Ekitike, Thiago, Haaland, all with decent enough fixtures, and 5 frees. So I don't need a wildcard there. But that's the issue. I've got 2 possible chip strategies which feel 50-50 and will be decided based on who wins out of City and Liverpool in the Cup. And if Tarkowski's out, I would buy completely different players on those 2 chip strategies.
That's very useful, to be fair.
But I'll probably buy Malik Chow, because he's just the best.
Yeah, when he gets 15 points, you might not be too bothered.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be Chow.
I guess if you were looking for a 31, 32, and 34 player,
I'd buy Diouf.
I was about to say, would it be West Ham? Yeah.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Or a second.
I could even do. Now the other thing that I could do is I could do Richards to Diouf, because I don't really know when Richards is going to be that useful to me anyway. And Tarkowski could be useful in 34.
Yeah.
But Diouf's not great this week. Away at Villa. So I really hope Tarkowski's okay. If Tarkowski is even have a chance, I probably will roll and just hope I get him. If I don't, I play with 10. Like I'd rather that and have the extra transfer, I think. So yeah, either Tarkowski to Malik Chow or Richards to Diouf, I think, or roll, hopefully. Yeah, the rest of it's fine. Like, would I rather like someone else like Gordon over in Burmo? Yeah. Would I rather not have Dewsbury Hall? Probably. Maybe not now. But would I rather a better goalkeeper? Yeah, but I'm not. It's not worth the transfer.
Any temptation on forward, Haaland, like a Bowen, João Pedro?
Not really, because again, then I've got to bench someone, which I don't really want to do. I think my attack is fine.
Yeah.
Using a transfer on Bowen or João Pedro to bench probably Dewsbury Hall. I just think the idea of 5 frees, a wild card with all the doubles and blanks in front of me, just is a pretty hard thing to turn down.
Yeah, that is slightly jealous of that.
So yeah, if Tarkowski's out, I'll be forced to make a defensive move. If not, I'll roll.
Captaincy, definite.
Probably. I mean, I'd love to consider Wilson, but I'm very unlikely to move off Bruno when he's going to be 170% owned. You know me. That's too scary to do for me to do anything about.
Protect your biggest. What do you say?
Yeah.
Your biggest EO thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at it. Basically, my rank threats this week are going to be, and if you have a team that looks like mine, will be João Pedro and the Burnley defence. So, Bournemouth defence. There's not that much else, really.
Now Chalobah's out
maybe.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's me.
Cool.
Very nice.
Stephen?
Yeah, so I'm in the interesting position of actually having someone on my bench this game week. Alderete first on the bench, so he's there in case I need him. Other than that, pretty similar to a lot of people. I've got Dubravka in nets against Fulham away. I know, like, some people are asking me, like, oh, do a goalkeeper transfer, but, like, I'm never going to do a goalkeeper transfer. At this point in the season where transfers are so valuable, I would rather just take a 0-pointer from Dubravka than make a transfer. Van Dijk against Brighton, Collins against Leeds. I'm very happy I held on to him. I've got Hill against United at home, who is the rank threat to Harry, but I'm not expecting too much. I do think United will score there. And then Bruno, Wilson, Rodgers, Dango, Tavernier in the midfield, which I'm pretty happy with, bar Rodgers, but he has a decent fixture. And then Thiago Ekitike up top. So, yeah, team is looking nice for the free hit, for the blank game week, sorry. And then, in terms of the chip strategy from here, obviously I used my bench boost last game week. I'm very much hoping to save the wild card until game week 35. Similar to Harry, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where it's never ideal, and I hate using the wild card so late, but I really don't need it in game week 32. Like, I have Gabriel, Van Dijk, Alderete against Spurs at home, Collins against Everton at home, I quite like. I got Bruno, Dango, Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers could be one to go, but with his fixtures, he's one of those players that, like, he has good fixtures, so I can't sell him, but, like, I would love to get him out of my team. And then, Thiago, Haaland, Ekitike up top. That looks pretty solid for game week 32. I think it's a luxury just, being able to wait and then figure out when I'm going to use my free hit, because I'm pretty confident I'll use my wild card in game week 35 and probably just free hit in 34, maybe even 33. I'll have to wait and see how everything lines up with my team, but I'm pretty happy to be flexible when I use my free hit, and pretty confident I use my my wild card in game week 35. So yeah, looks like this week I'll just be rolling the transfer, because if I was to make a transfer this game week, I'm not sure what I would do. But yeah, it looks pretty solid, and I have someone on my bench in case I need him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you had 5, you'd probably do Rodgers to Gordon, but obviously you'd rather roll than do that.
Exactly.
I do think wildcard 33 is another strategy which people could end up on. It's quite similar to the free hit 33 strategy as well.
With a free hit 34, you'd have to.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then bench boosts.
Again, like if bench boost doesn't look great in 33, then suddenly it's the worst of the 3 strategies. We'll have to see how it lands.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bigger winners are people who've just used their bench boost and done okay and don't have to worry about it.
I don't know. I still feel like I could have saved it for the double game week, because, like, everyone on, if you get 4 doublers, let's say in some world you get 4 doublers on your bench boost, like, that's a guaranteed at least, let's say, 4 points per player. That's 12 points, which is more than I got on my bench boost.
True, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
The benefit to a wildcard 33, especially if even if you have the bench boost, is out of all the single game weeks, 35 is the best week for a bench boost. The only clash between teams that you wouldn't mind having is United, Liverpool. Outside of that, Arsenal host Fulham, Villa host Spurs, Bournemouth host Palace, Brentford host West Ham, Chelsea home Forest, City away at Everton, Leeds at home to Burnley, so like Darlow was great for it. United against Liverpool, Newcastle host Brighton, and Sunderland away at Wolves. Like, you could happily have a pretty good bench boost that week. So again, that's why wildcard 33 free hit 34. Yeah, as FPL polls has literally just said in the chat, play a decent team in 33, wildcard 30 in 32, wildcard 33, free hit 34, and bench boost wherever, which would most likely be 35. Yeah, like all the teams that you'd own on a wildcard 33 for the double, like triple Arsenal at home to Fulham, triple Newcastle at home to Brighton, triple Chelsea potentially at home to Forest. Brighton is away at Newcastle, so maybe not all of them, but
you'd have Joe Rodon
City
on your
away
bench boost, surely.
Yeah, Joe Rodon at home to Burnley, Darlow at home to Burnley.
You can maybe get a Wolves player. They keep doing all right.
Yep.
Fair enough. Yeah, so now you've seen Harry and Stephen's perfect planning. You now come to my team, and somehow I haven't got 11 players.
Stephen, you can lend Tom a player.
Yeah, can I have Alderete for a week?
Got one spare.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how it's come to this, because I have been rolling, and I guess it's because I didn't do Timber to Van Dijk, which did actually pay off points-wise, but now we've arrived with 9. Barring a Dorgu miracle, I'm going to have to... so for the podcast, I've got Sanchez, Anderson, Rogers, Dango, Fernandes, Enzo, Wilson, Thiago, Ekitike. So I've only got one defender at the moment. Straightforward moves would just be Thiaw for Timber and Van Dijk for Richards. Has to be Richards, unfortunately. I can't do Dorgu to make that work. But yeah, buying Van Dijk and Thiaw this week, I think would be the smart play, I think. The obvious play. But before the stream, I was wondering if Van Dijk is actually... I think Brighton will probably score, and, if it's for 1 week for the wildcard, but having heard Harry talk about getting a team for 32 and 34, potentially, wildcarding 35 maybe not even wildcarding 32, Van Dijk is good for those 2 weeks. So
yeah,
that has, in the last sort of 10 minutes, made me think I need to just get Van Dijk and play with 11.
I probably would do it.
I think Charles a definite buy for me.
Yeah. I just think... I understand your point that Van Dijk may well score less than 4, and then it's not as worth it. But it's not a hit. It just means on wildcard, you have one less transfer. But you've got a wildcard and there's 7 weeks left. Like, there are... A lot of the teams that we want on wildcard 32 have good fixtures for the rest of the season. Like, there'll be transfers to make if you want to make them, but you also don't need them. Like, I was planning my team and I was buying, like, Calvert-Lewin for 1 week at home to Burnley and then selling him the week later because I got excess transfers. You don't actually need them.
And I'll still have 2 next week, and I think I could roll next week if I don't wildcard. So, yeah, it's not all bad, I suppose.
Is there any world in where you consider, like, 2 transfers, Richards and Dorgu out instead of Timber, and like who you could afford with that? Because I feel like Timber's a good player to have.
That's a fair shout. Let me just check.
I'm not even sure. Like, you'd probably be buying Rodon and Thiaw.
Yeah, I've got exactly 9 million.
It's not great.
Which is basically Rodon Thiaw. It's just the fact that...
And Botman's not even cheaper, is he? I wouldn't buy Botman, to be honest. I was just asking for trouble when Thiaw scores.
It would almost certainly be Rodon and Thiaw, I think.
Yeah, I'd have 4 million for my second pick.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Or Diouf.
Diouf is 4 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's an option.
Yeah, and then
it's no Van Dijk.
No, yeah, it's not quite Van Dijk. I mean, James Hill is 4.2, isn't he?
Tom's IRL in the chat is asking about Mavropanos. He's more expensive, but I probably would buy Mavropanos over Diouf.
Is he not?
But the only issue is
after that photo.
True. The only issue with them is if they go to a back 4, we don't know which centre back drops out.
True.
And it's not going to be Disasi.
No.
So it'll be Todibo or Mavropanos, whereas Diouf's pretty nailed. So,
and I guess with them there is half a chance they could. There's still not half a chance, but there's still a chance they could blank and double. so it's not
Yeah.
it's not locked in for 34. So yeah, I think I'll be doing Chow and Van Dijk in.
Yeah.
Reluctantly selling Timber.
I mean, he might still be injured anyway.
But yeah, and Van Dijk has got 2 good home games in 32 and 34, so it's not the end of the world.
And again, like, you've got to remember, when we come back for game week 32, even if Timber's back, that Arsenal game is in between their 2 Champions League next legs against Bayern Munich. Bayern? No. Yes. No. Bayern are on the other half of the draw. Sporting. So maybe Timber, maybe it's different, but
yeah, you get the sense that if Ben White had been fit recently, he may have played a game, because Timber kind of went off with a lot of fatigue.
I mean,
Arsenal fans have been saying he's tired for ages. Maybe he would have played the Champions League instead of the Premier League, but
I feel like that injury was so predictable for Timber.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and then Captain Bruno is, I don't know, he doesn't massively haul away from home, but Bournemouth are very due a thrashing in the nicest possible way. They've kept a lot of clean sheets from high XGC. They kept a clean sheet against West Ham, having conceded over 3 XG.
I do think it is, again, we're at the point of the season where people are chasing, right? I don't think it is it's a big gamble, because he's going to be 170% owned this week, right? It's going to be like, when we're in the Haaland perma cap weeks, it's going to be that level of captaincy on Bruno. But if you're chasing, it is an away game.
It's just like, who do you go for?
It would be Wilson, right? It would have to be Harry Wilson, because he scored 16 points against Burnley in the reverse fixture. I think you bought him that week, Stephen, and I bought Jimenez, who blanked.
Yeah, Gordon as well, if you own him. An option. It's slim pickings.
Captain Harry Wilson's tough, because like he scores, he's a bit like Soboslai in a sense, albeit it was maybe slightly harsh, but he scores absolute wonder goals.
He does, yeah.
Probably Captain Gordon ahead of Wilson, I think.
Same.
I think it's something to consider if you're chasing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. It goes without saying, are we all going to start Haaland just in case?
I mean, if Palace win, then it's irrelevant, right?
True. Good point.
But if Palace lose, then yeah.
Fair enough. We got a super chat just before we wrap up. Just find it. Who to sell? Haaland to João Pedro, Rice to Gordon, or Munoz to Chow, Van Dijk?
What was the second one? Rice.
So you're basically buying a forward, a midfielder, or a defender. Who's the priority? I'd say Gordon is. If you've already got a back 3, I'm not convinced buying it. Although Chow could double, so it could be decent. But I'd say if you could have anyone, Gordon would be the top priority for me, I think.
If you've still got wildcard left, I do the Rice to Gordon move, because there is a chance that Munoz and Haaland double 32.
He does, because he sent in a later message. He has wildcard.
Okay. If Palace lose in Europe, then I would definitely do the Gordon move. Yeah. If Palace win in Europe, then I still think I'd do the Gordon move. But I would be considering the Chow move.
Fair. And we just got another super chat in the last 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Saying, would you sell Scott from Bournemouth to Harry Wilson with only 1 free transfer?
Wildcard 32.
Scott. So Scott has hit DEFCON 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the last 7 and missed out very marginally in the others. His DEFCON's great. So he's like James Garner. He's probably going to hit it.
I feel like saving the transfer could be the play.
With 1 free.
Yeah.
I'm going to say save the transfer.
Yeah,
I'm going to say save the transfer. It's close, though.
Could be. He could celebrate his England squad place if he gets in with a goal at Old Trafford. Sorry, at the vitality. Yeah, if you've only got one, I think you'd probably want to be going to 32 with multiple threes.
Mm-hmm.
But Harry Wilson's ownership is decent. But
yeah, that's the only thing that would make me wonder about doing it.
I think for 1 week, though, I think if you haven't got Wilson now, maybe with only one transfer, maybe you just pray.
There are lots of questions in the chat about what is the best chip strategy if you've got this chip, that chip. The best strategy is to take as many transfers as you can into Game Week 32 and decide once the FA Cup is out of the way, because there is no right chip strategy at the moment until we get to those FA Cup results.
Very
basically.
true.
So we can all have 3 weeks off, basically.
Yeah.
Two. That third week will be the biggest week of planning of the season.
Yeah, big week.
It will, yeah.
You going to Chelsea Port Vale? You're going to put yourself through that?
I'm actually not. I'm seeing my family for Easter weekend. So I'm not. I need a bit of time away from Stamford Bridge, I think.
After
Look
last
after
night.
the mental health.
Yeah, exactly. A nice week off. Nice bit of respite from respecting the ball. Right, that is all. Thank you very much for joining. If you could drop a like before you go, subscribe if you are not subscribed to the Scout channel. We are back every Wednesday, and we'll be back here to talk about chip strategy once Game Week 32 is much closer. Good luck in Game Week 31. Enjoy the break when it's there. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Jake, guys, good luck for